am Angel Snub Nub 7, star of Screen, Stage, and the Ghetto. Peace and respect you. You have come to the right place. This is the Realities Temple on Earth Internet Ministry, and I am, again, that mighty one, the mighty Angel Snub Nub 7, the most powerful voice on social media. And today, we are just talking, coming at you very casual, just having a conversation. And I just want to continue to give us something to think about. We don't think a lot. We act on emotion and we don't think. Emotion has an effect on action. And most times when we act emotional, we don't make the appropriate choices. We don't make the right decisions because emotion hinders clear and proper thinking. And as a people, as a group, because these who are the descendants of slaves born in America having dark skin, we have yet to become a people. We are a group, a bunch of groups, plural. You are in that group, the Hebrew Israelite. You are in that group, the black Muslims. You are in that group, the black Christians. You are in that group, those who seek comedic understanding, and the groups are endless. So, but what we all have in common is that we are emotional, and emotion causes us not to act in the appropriate manner that we should. Fear is an emotion, and fear has been used to control us, make us docile for centuries, and it continues to be very effective. It's emotion. Emotions hinders proper response to or proper reaction to stimuli. Trying to be a little scientific. Okay, I only have a few minutes left. Let me say this, what I want to bring to us very quickly. I was listening one time, I don't know exactly when this happened, but I was raised around Caucasian people. Can you believe that? I was raised around Caucasian pink people. Yeah, sure, I was. Now, I don't know exactly where I was at, a restaurant, truck stop, or a rest area, or the zoo, or I don't know where I was at. I have no idea. But I do know I was sitting at a place, and there were Caucasian people there, and it just so happened, I mean, it was a public place. They were talking sort of loud, and I was listening to their conversation. Not trying to be a busybody or, nosy or anything. But, I mean, they was talking, and I was listening to their conversation, and the topic was about their ancestors, who they were related to. And somebody, it was a long time ago, so I can't say exactly who these people saying they were related to, but I'll give you an example. I'm related to that millionaire so-and-so. I'm related to Elvis Presley. I'm related to Bill Gates. I'm related to Donald Trump. They was talking all this, who they related to, who their ancestors was. I'm related to the King of England. My family goes all the way back to Queen Victoria, things like that. And then somebody said, my ancestor died in the Revolutionary War. Now remember all this other things that was said. It's nothing to sneeze at. But this person said, my ancestor died and fought in the Revolutionary War. If it was not for the Revolutionary War, there would be no Donald Trump. There would be no Elvis Presley. There would be all these things that y'all talking about that would not exist. They didn't say that, but they put on the table, I'm related to somebody that was involved in the Revolutionary War. In fact, perhaps maybe a forefather, one of the persons that signed the Declaration of Independence. And everybody else. Now, all this other stuff, again, is nothing to sneeze at, but they sort of got a little silent. And you have to become a little silent because that revolutionary, if it was not, just like they said, if it was not for the actions of that revolutionary, all these other people of whom y'all are bragging about would not exist because you would still be slaves to England. So that made me to think, as a descendant of slaves born in America having dark skin, how many of us can be so proud to say that I have a relative that died in the Black Revolutionary War? Well, there was no and has never been a Black Revolution. You have had a civil rights type movement, and you have had an action called a revolution, but not actually a revolution. But nevertheless, to say, how many of us can actually say that we were related to somebody who walked with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was on the front line of the FOI in the Nation of Islam, who walked with Huey Newton and Eldridge Cleavage in the Black, and Mark Hampton Mark Hampton of the Black Panther Party. Very few so-called Black people, we can say that. Very, very few. We were not part of a revolution. My own personal family, I can count on one hand how many was involved in this struggle. There was between 10, almost 30 million Black people in this nation during the 60s. All of us should be able to say, I have an uncle, an aunt, a father, or somebody was involved in the struggle, but we cannot say that. And then you wonder why we are in the condition that we are in. We have no relatives that was involved in revolution, physical confrontation, a fight, very few, with our oppressors. Which brings me to want to ask and understand this issue about suicide bombers and the kamikaze. The kamikaze were Japanese fighters that flew airplanes, and they would use the whole airplane as a weapon and give their life and fly their airplane into the enemy ship. Suicidal. And then you have the suicide bombers of today who are willing to blow their bodies up to cause damage to an enemy. Both of these are not looked upon in a grand view of looking at things, but we must also understand that the Black kamikaze fighter was an enemy to America, so you don't expect Americans to praise kamikaze fighters. You should not expect America to praise suicide bombers because they are the enemy. You have Americans who have used their airplane. Not like the Japanese did, but I'm very sure there have been many Americans who used their vehicles and airplanes and were suicidal against Germany or Japan. And you have Americans who will risk their life against an enemy in the Middle East somewhere or whatever. So, but now if an American commits suicide, they get praised. But if you are Japanese, you don't get any praise. Or you come from the Middle East, you don't get any praise. But all these people deserve praise, whether you like them or not, because that individual has decided, I'm willing to give my life for my country, for my nation, for people of whom I might not be biological related to people of whom I would never know, fighting and giving my life for their best interest. That's what I'm trying to present to us within these few minutes. The honor of being a warrior. Y'all talk that. But talking and doing is two different things. The Japanese kamikaze fighter, the person that's in the Middle East willing to blow themselves up, they did not just talk it, but was willing to do it. I don't care how many businesses you have. I don't care how educated you are. All this other crap that y'all talking about. If you're not willing to become a fighter, then whatever business, whatever education that you have, it will always be exploited by your enemy, by an outside force, because you're not man enough. And this is expected of men, to be brave enough and man enough to protect what you build, your women and your children. And the descendants of slaves born in America, these so-called men, and they don't like that I call us cowards every day, but until you show differently, until you can show that you have the heart of a Japanese kamikaze fighter or a suicide bomber, then you deserve to be called a coward. Going on 500 years, but your silly ass will turn around and you will die and fight for your oppressor. And then you want me to praise you because you was in the racist Caucasian pink people's army. It's not going to happen with me. I give praise and honor and will always remember those in the Black Panther Party, those in the Nation of Islam, those in the Moorish Science Temple, the Hebrew Israelites, all of our people out there willing to fight and give their lives in the struggle and the civil rights era. Not none of y'all current computer revolutionaries, punkified, hiding behind a picture, talking all that warrior stuff, but you ain't gonna do a damn thing. You're not gonna burst the grape. Why should you get any kind of praise?
Self, and you don't realize it. You don't realize it, that God has been imprisoned. The devil was able to imprison God. So right inside your own self, your God self has been imprisoned, and you have a false sense of self running rampant inside the temple. This is why, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We have to bring reality's temple here on earth. Reality's temple here on earth, because
Yes, sir.
we have to realize the enemy is running rampant inside this temple, and we have to recover.
Yes, sir.
Because white supremacy is a clinical dis-ease. It is a dis-ease, and the dis-ease has been running for so long that they don't need, the white man don't have to continue to kick your ass on up front. He has made it so that he has gotten into you like a virus and you kick your own ass.
Yes, sir.
And it even has trickled down to some of us right here in the so-called conscious community.
Okay, they should send it to my government name, which is Nathan Howard. And the commitment number is MC 2310
zip code.
Hold on. Institution Drive, Belfont. BELLEFONTE, and the zip code is 16823.
In the name of our ancestors, peace forever and always, and welcome to another edition of what I call the Realities Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I am the host or the gatekeeper of this particular program, known here on social media as the mighty Angel Snub 7. I am your brother and your friend, Taalik Ibn'rad. I want to talk about our brother, of whom many of you are familiar with, and he is from what we know of as the House of Consciousness, Brother Sanetta, and other brothers and sisters who bring their information upon that forum. The brother I'm speaking about is Natural Tahuti. I would first like to say a couple of things before I speak about my brother, Natural Tahuti. I would like to thank Brother Sanetta and the House of Consciousness for providing the information that we need for all of us who respect. And you don't have to agree with the black woman is God or anything that this brother has to say. But he is out there doing something and helping awaken our minds to another way of thinking other than how we have been brainwashed living in this racist society by pink Europeans. But I personally would like to thank Sanetta for providing the information so that we can contact Brother Natural Tahuti, for those of us who respect him. And again, it has nothing to do with I agree with what he's teaching, but to show a little empathy and to show a brother in this struggle that we care about a fellow soldier and warrior here in the wilderness of North America, where really we don't have that many friends. And this brings me to my second point, is that there are many feuds between brothers on YouTube and social media, what we call beefs. And this has been going on for a long time, and really it needs to stop. I don't understand those who claim they love black people. Once you dislike a brother, once you dislike a sister, for whatever the reason may be, we hold on to that hatred. We hold on to that dislike forever. I can acknowledge the good of any person, but we can't acknowledge the good, only the negative and the bad. And that's what we push. And this is why you remain in the condition that we find ourselves in, because you are still filled with self-hatred for black skin, for black people. Your beef, your disagreement is nothing but the excuse that we use to hate another brother or sister in the struggle or in the general population. That's all it is. We can't let go of it because that hatred is still deep inside our very being. This is so sad. We need to bring these beefs to an end. If you don't like what Sanetta is doing, if you don't like what In the Black Media is doing, or King Noble, or myself, what I have to say, Just leave the brothers alone. Let them just go ahead and do what they feel they need to do. This does not mean we don't have the right to critique, but when it gets to the point where it's outright hatred and beefing, and it can get to the point where somebody is actually threatened and eventually somebody will be killed, the only thing you're doing, you're not helping black conscience, you're not helping black power, you're not helping black liberation, you're not helping black folks at all, or what I call the people I don't call us black, I call us soul people, the descendants of slaves born in America, whatever you call us, Kemites or Hebrew Israelites or Nubians, however you view us, you do not help us at all. You do not help your cause that you claim that you represent. I want to send a shout out and I want to send support, and I am glad that Brother Sarnetta gave us the information in order to contact our brother Nacha Tahuti. Not too long ago, 2013, I believe, maybe 2012, somewhere in that range, I have always tried to speak with my fellow warriors out here in the struggle. And I have contacted Sarnetta. He really don't want to talk to me, and I've tried to contact others in the House of Consciousness. And then on my first try, I contacted Nacha Tahuti, and we spoke on Skype. I called him and I said, brother, I'm Angel Snub Nub 7. I don't know if you know me or not. And he said very quickly, I know you, brother. And we began a conversation, and I asked him, could I record it on Skype? And we had a Skype conversation. See, that's brotherhood. What is your fear of Angel Snub Nub 7? I'm just a brother who wants to talk. That's all. What do you fear? Clearly, Brother Nacha Tahuti had no fear of Angel Snub Nub 7. Nacha Tahuti had no fear of the realities temple on earth. Nacha Tahuti had a respect for Angel Snub Nub 7 and this truth that I represent. And that he's shown immediately. So it is incumbent upon me to continue to show Brother Nacha Tahuti that I am your brother. And being a victim of incarceration myself for years, I know how it is to be locked up. So I want to say in the public, and I want you to call me on this, but I want to send financial support to Brother Nacha Tahuti, and I want to write letters and send packages and things and let that brother know that he's not forgotten and somebody out here supports him as a brother, as a scholar, as a human being, regardless to his skin color, but we belong to the same people, the descendants of slaves born in America. And I would also ask you to support a brother that we know of who has done so much and is really a brilliant mind that's incarcerated by these races. I could care less about what these devils have to say about him, because the devil, the pinks are liars and they make up things. And I will support Nacha Tahuti based on that. If he is guilty as charged, so I could care less. This is my brother and I'm going to support him because I seen him out on the battlefield. A fearless warrior out there on the streets of Harlem, trying to awaken a people who, during his time on the street, even to this day, would rather be asleep than awake. Because when you truly awaken, not become just conscious, that brings a responsibility for you to take action, not just listening to Tommy Sotomayor versus polite the black woman on trial. I don't know what she's charged with. I don't know what crime she's committed, but she's on trial. And all this other madness that we get involved in. And from this rostrum, the real solution to the problem is a combination of certain things, including the action of that brother Michael Xavier Johnson that he performed in Dallas. We have to become real warriors. You call yourself a god and a warrior, then stop running your mouth. What are you going to do? What am I going to do to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt, except talk? So with that said, Brother Natural Tahuti, take care of yourself. I'm going to have a care package coming to you very soon. Not just one, but I'm going to continue as long as I am able to do so, and let you know that if nobody else supports you, then you will get support from this rostrum, because you are a friend and proven to me that you are indeed a brother. Peace forever and always, and welcome to another edition of what I call the Realities Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I am the mighty Angel Snub 7, Soul Brother number 1, the most powerful voice on YouTube. And today we are just being casual. This is sort of like a rant video, but it's not. It could be chiffon. If it's not butter, it could be chiffon. Just trying to make a joke. The joke didn't. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm not a comedian. All right. Okay. So we got that out of the way. I just had some things. There is no right or wrong. It's just something that make you say, just want to give us something to think about. There is no right. There is no wrong. Something to think about. And I was thinking about this thing called Messiah, this thing called Savior. I wonder about that. You know, I just would, excuse me, that my telephone is talking. You know, when I get a text, it talks. So, you know, be quiet, telephone. Ooh, throwing me off my game. This thing about Savior and Messiah. The FBI looking for and afraid of the coming of a black Messiah. We're looking for the modern Christ. We're looking for a Savior. A Savior has come to the black man and woman in America. That's what they say coming out of the forum called the Nation of Islam. A Savior is born. And every week of February 25th, the Nation of Islam has Savior's Day. A special divine person is going to come and save you. Wow. I get my thinking process. I gain my thought from my observance of what is called the natural world. There's a difference between help and a savior. If I can barely swim and first of all, it's bad judgment. I know that I can't swim or I can barely swim, and it's bad judgment, and there is always going to be a consequence for any action. For any action that you do, there's a consequence. And it is bad judgment knowing you can't swim or can barely swim to go mess around in a pool or a lake or a river or ocean or something like that. So you go out making bad judgment and you go out. Maybe it's not even your fault. Some fool pushes you into the water and you end up struggling and you can't swim. So somebody comes to save you. This type of saving is simply help. We all need a little help. I need a little help with my bills. I will give you guys my my PayPal account or whatever, and you guys can help me with my bills. You can if you can help me put on my shoes or help me get my cap, or there's nothing wrong with a little help. We all need a little help. Okay, I understand that. But what type of mentality is looking for a savior, a Messiah? What type of mentality? You do not see that in the natural world when it comes to adults. The only one who needs a savior in the natural world are babies, because babies are not developed. They are helpless. And so if the little fox gets in trouble, Mama Fox, Daddy Fox will come save them. But when you become an adult, you might get some help, but an adult should not expect a savior. Are you understanding where I'm coming from? Only babies, undeveloped people expect and cry out for a savior. Undeveloped people and babies expect a savior. In the natural world, every animal is expected to save him or herself. You can get help, but they do not expect a savior. As an adult, you are supposed to be mentally developed enough to make proper choices. If you are an adult, again, if you can't swim, but you mess around in a river or a lake or a stream or a pool, you make the wrong call, then there's a consequence, and chances are you might pay for that stupid judgment with your life. And when you think stupid and when you make ignorant calls, there's a consequence. The soul people of America, the descendants of slaves having dark skin, born in America, have been making, as adults, the wrong calls, inappropriate actions. And you have suffered the consequence now going on 500 years. Because you're waiting on a savior. Having a childish mentality, your mind is undeveloped. There is nothing wrong with help. But when you look for a savior as an adult, then there is a problem and there's a consequence. And these who are calling themselves black, Negro, Africans, or whatever you want to call yourself, Hebrews and Moors, whatever you are, all of you are in the same condition, looking for saviors, looking for some kind of help outside of your own being as an adult. This is why in religious texts, you call yourself a child of God. How old is the Quran? How old is the Bible? How old is Kemet? How old is all these things that y'all are obsessed with and praise? Thousands of years old. But yet, these books, these things only produce children. Children of the God. There are no examples, not one example of anybody who has become an adult. Why is this? Because once you become an adult, it is expected of you to save yourself and not keep crying and praying. The reason why you pray is asking for help. The reason why you pray is you begging the great father or the great mother to help you. And in nature, only babies and undeveloped organisms require help. When you become an adult, when a grizzly bear becomes an adult, that bear is not looking for help. Nature gives you everything that you are supposed to have and everything that you need. There is no savior. There is nothing that can give you anything extra. Sometimes we need a little help because it is always possible to get caught up in unusual circumstances. That's not the problem. The problem is when you are an adult and you lack the ability to be an adult and sit on your backside and wait to be saved when you could have the potential and the power to save yourself. What is the sense of praying for? You pray to God. Clearly, your God is not answering your prayers. Because if your prayers were being answered, you would be an adult and able to solve your own problem, your own condition, change your own condition that you don't like. Your mother and your father and your teachers, what is their purpose? The purpose of your teachers at school, your mother and your father, your parents, all these adults are supposed to help you become an adult and become independent so you don't have to cry for a savior, so you don't need any help, so that you can be independent. That is the purpose of learning. That is the purpose of watching and observing the adults around you. But we find ourselves waiting on the coming of a divine one. What is special about this divine one? Well, this divine one comes from the Most High. Whatever that special divine person is, first of all, it is not fair. Why this God is playing favoritism to give this divine person all this knowledge and understanding or whatever, and give you nothing. Mother and father, if mother and father have a cake, they should give that child, all the children, the same amount of the cake. not just one, and then this one is supposed to share with the others. That's not how it works. Because you know how children are. Children can be a little on the greedy side, and I keep a little to myself. And you see that a lot of times when people talk about they teaching us. I haven't taught you everything. I got a little to myself. Why? Why are you holding out on everybody? What's up with that? Because people feel special about having more than others. Yet and still they tell you about we're equals. So again, to make a long story short, I question this savior, this divine stuff somebody's supposed to be coming to save you. An adult should be able to save him or herself. You have the potential. You are allowing something to hinder your progress. You remain undeveloped. And since you are undeveloped, this is why, as a people who have this mentality, you cannot change your condition. Waiting on the return of Jesus, waiting on the return of Elijah, or whoever divine person that you're waiting on. And you will continue to wait, because clearly they ain't coming. Let's talk about it. Jot down your comments. Just like Don Cornelius used to say, until next time, y'all, love, peace, and soul. Okay, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. I wonder if this thing is acting right. I'm not very sure. Okay, let's try it anyway. Y'all ready? Here we go. Okay, I am that mighty one, Angel Snub 7, and you have come to the right place. This is the Realities Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. We're just being casual. This is what I call a rant video. Something, a topic that should make you say, really should make you think. Many of us, we have poor thinking skills. We allow others to do our thinking for us. We allow the tail light vision to think for us, the radio, Facebook, the police officer on the corner, the drug dealer, the preacher. We allow everybody to do our thinking for us. Even the dead. The dead left you the Bible. The dead left you the Holy Quran. Even dead people. I'm sorry. You allow dead people that lived thousands of years ago do your thinking for you. Wow, that is really pathetic and pitiful. It really is. I don't mean to laugh at you, but wow. I'm just thinking about it. It's already bad enough. Your mama do your thinking for you. Your daddy do your thinking for you. Maybe your brother. Next door neighbor. I know the television and cable, social media, but even before all these people, y'all allow dead folks who no longer exist, even their bones don't exist no more, and they, because of something they wrote on a piece of paper hundreds and thousands of years ago, they do your thinking for you. Oh, wow. You got, I was talking to a brother, my brother Omar Shabazz, and we were speaking, and if you don't laugh, certain things just make you cry. And I'd rather just laugh it off than shed tears, because also, Men not supposed to cry. I will cry, but it won't be on camera. Not today anyway. Okay, now I want y'all to give this some thought. Now, just for the sake of argument, you find a Jewish woman, a Caucasian pink Jewish woman, who has fallen in love with a pink Caucasian Nazi guy. Matter of fact, they fell in love while she was at the in the concentration camp. Now, this is not something that's fictional. It probably has happened. I'm very sure. See, a man is a man. A woman is a woman. Women are going to fall in love with men. Men are going to fall in love with women. I don't care what the situation they find themselves in. So I'm very sure that somewhere in history, you have a Jewish woman or a Jewish man fall in love with a Nazi woman, a Nazi male fall in love with a Jewish woman. I'm pretty sure it has happened. However, if it does happen, you will not see the Jewish community talking about it. Matter of fact, if you are a Jewish man or you're a Jewish woman, you should not even be thinking about going outside of your religion, let alone talking about, I'm in love with a Nazi that's killing our people in concentration camps. You're going to keep that a secret. Keep it to yourself between you and your lover. There's no doubt about that. And I can guarantee you, the Jewish community is not going to brag about it. They are going to be extremely upset if they don't have you murdered. I know in Orthodox Judaism, they do not want any of their family to even marry somebody outside of the faith. You are looked down upon. So I can guarantee you, if you examine Jewish magazines and literature and television shows that they watch, they do not, you will not see interfaith, bragging about interfaith marriages. You're definitely not going to see them talking about it's all right to love a Nazi and all this other stuff. You're not going to see that. I want to make something perfectly clear. This ministry does not advocate interracial relationships because it is unnatural. There's nothing wrong with interracial relationships when the man and the woman come together, them and their people are on common ground. But when you have one person who is a massa and another one that is a slave, that is an unnatural situation. The same way your dog lives in your house. Dogs don't live in houses. You condition that dog to live in your house. And the reason why that dog is with you is because that dog, that fish, that bird, that cat has become your slave. It's an unnatural relationship. So, interracial relationships has been happening for centuries, but it is very rare. In nature, most times, over 99.9% of the time, most animals stay with their species. Even, say for example, in blackbirds, there are different kinds of blackbirds, but they don't intermingle with one another. They stay with their type of blackbird. But then you create a people and you have made them unnatural and they have no love for themselves, and in fact, you have made them a domesticated animal. You have made them like your pet dog. And when you come home, having locked up your dog all day long, and your dog needs to take a whiz and a dump, but that dog is wagging its tail when you come home, although it has suffered all day long holding in its feces and urine. This is an unnatural situation, but the dog's love for masa, the dog don't have the intelligence to understand that it is being mistreated and abused. This is an unnatural situation. So you have the descendants of slaves born in America having dark skin, the people of soul. We find ourselves in this unnatural situation. But unlike the Jew, again, the interracial relationship itself is very rare, and it happens. But our problem with interracial relationships is that you are falling in love with the children of the enemy. Matter of fact, even when our ancestors were in fact in physical bondage, they were falling in love with their masa, and their masa was beating them, and their masa made them work from sun up to sundown and lynching them and murdering them at will. But some of them was in love with masa. This is a very sick mentality, and it continues to this day, that you don't care nothing about your ancestors, how they would feel, and you falling in love with the people that mistreated your ancestors for hundreds of years because you in love. Well, the first thing they say is, you cannot help who you fall in love with. That's a lie. There are many people who may have loved you and shown you feelings and you reject them. Why don't you fall in love with them? Since you can't help who you fall in love with, why didn't you fall in love with them? That's the most silliest and dumbest lie I ever heard. I couldn't help for falling in love. No, you wanted to fall because you have fallen in love with an oppressor, your abuser. It's a sick, demented, unnatural kind of love. The same kind of love a dog has for his master when that dog should be out in a forest. That dog should be out in the wilderness doing what a dog's supposed to be, not laying up in your house, not eating some dog food made out of cornmeal and wheat and rice, being denied the right to be free. And here you are. You fall in love with the people who continue to this day shoot us down in the street, deny us fair housing and employment and education, and it goes on and on. It never stops, and you in love with them. And then you brag about it. You will put these interracial relationships, these Negro couples with their pink lovers on the front of Ebony magazine and Jet magazines and all these other magazines that we have and on our internet social media, and you happy and you proud to be with the children of the people that beat your ass. How sickening is it? And you brag about it. The Jewish community would find great shame, not only in interfaith, but they definitely don't want nobody, one of their own kind, that would marry and lay down in the bed with the group of people that put them in concentration camps, burn them alive, gas them alive, lynch them, and all kinds of other evil. They would not accept this. But they remain in their right state of mind. They never had a massa to serve. Unlike the Jewish people, this Negro, these who are the descendants of slaves born in America, having dark skin for hundreds of years, became domesticated. And like the dog, fell in love with massa. And every time massa speak, you wag your tail. If you had a tail. Matter of fact, massa said, remember when massa said that you did have a tail? Massa also said that you don't think you're primitive and your brain's not developed. They did you a favor taking your savage self out of the jungles, and you love these people. I can't help who I fall in love with. You can't see that you have become so sick and have the nerve to actually brag about it and get angry with people who see you as the fool that you really are. But that's all right, because you wag your tail, and just like that cat that leans up against your leg, you know, you do that to Caucasian people. You rub against their leg and you wag your tail, and your massa smile in your face. Everything gonna be all right. Can't you see how unnatural this behavior is? Wow. This is why you will vote for Hillary Clinton, a known devil that placed so many of us in these jails. But anyway, my time is out. Y'all think about it. Jot down your comments. I just want to throw that out there. I had that on my mind. Until next time, love, peace,